It's a very rainy day here in Paris. Very rainy. It's quite cold. I feel like just, it's really, really cold. Okay, tell me your name and the city you're joining me from, okay? Tell me your name and the city you're joining me from. Your name and the city you're joining me from. So today I want to share how investing $50,000 on a yearly basis will make you a multimillionaire in 10 years. Okay? We've started this about 4 days ago or so. I've been having this conversation. I can see you from Manchester. What's your name? Omotaya from Lagos. Kenny from Ikeja. Junior from Nigeria. Chibuzo from Enugu. Okay, tell me your name, your city. Eno from Abuja. Okay? Remember to invite as many people as possible for today's show. And I've been doing a series on investment. Yesterday we looked at how to prevent being scammed from any form of investment. Bangalore, what's your name? Malaysia is here, US is here, Atlanta, Georgia is here, Lagos is here, Victoria from New York City. Ovie, how are you? Somebody say, how many people can afford $50,000? Well, life is in phases, men are in sizes. Live your size part-time, right? When I did the version of training that covers those who don't even have anything, where were you? Okay? So if you go to my YouTube, you see trainings I've done that talks about how to build wealth even if you're starting from nothing. So don't be jealous of the day I decide to do training for those who have at least $50,000. What you fail to realize is if you have $50,000 disposable income today, okay, if you're not careful and invest it properly today, by the time your children are grown up and they're in college, okay, you will still be back in poverty, right? So these are trainings we do to help people understand how they need to reposition from where they are and how they can restructure their finances from where they are. So even if you don't have $50,000, okay, how about you have $10,000? Even if you don't have $10,000, how about starting with $1,000? So I shared a story with a lady in Dubai, and she's a professional. She was working and she's able to put aside $5,000 every month from her current work. And I remember saying to her, why not download certain apps? I'm not going to tell you those apps here. When you come for my training, you hear those ones. But funny enough, if you go to my YouTube, I've taught on them. So I gave her a couple of apps that she could download and start buying Fortune 500 shares, Tesla shares, Apple shares. She links it to her card. And every month, out of the disposable income, even if it's $1,000, she should just start buying, right? 2 years later, she was reaching out to me to thank me because she already has over 100% return on investment in 2 years of just doing that. Plus, she's been able to also save an amount of money she never believed she could save. In fact, she was so shocked that she could have such a money. Okay? So we love to teach and always look at your level and start at your level. A gentleman, I posted a picture of how the day I left Nigeria on Monday evening, I was so tired, extremely tired that if I almost fell down on my way to enter the plane. I was so tired. I was really sick. But I had a couple of meetings to to do here. I'm doing a Europe tour, talking to investors and see how we can attract investments. And I remember a gentleman on Facebook eventually said, well, if I'm in your shoes, I don't care how tired I am. These are the kind of trips me I like. These are the kind of life me I like. He practically was trivializing the struggles I had. And I remember saying to him, I said, I didn't start working this hard when I started flying first class. I've been working this hard since university days when there was nothing to show for my hard work. We've been working this hard. It's just the consistency. Over time, the reward begin to show. I hope this makes sense, guys. If it makes sense, type it makes sense, it makes sense. If it makes sense, type it makes sense, it makes sense. So how do you become a multi-millionaire in 10 years if you can walk your way to investing $50,000 every year? Okay, tomorrow I will take a session because of those who say, how about those who don't have $50,000? I will do a session tomorrow. How do you become a multi-millionaire investing $5,000 yearly, okay, in 30 years? How to become a multi-millionaire investing $5,000 yearly in 30 years. I'll do that tomorrow. But if you can't even afford $5,000, what is the problem? Can anybody tell me the problem? Anyone who cannot raise $5,000, how many of you agree with me that there is a different training the person needs? If you agree, tap, I agree. If you don't agree, tap, I don't agree. If you cannot raise $5,000 as investment every year, okay, you need a different type of training. Again, I have those trainings in my YouTube. What are the trainings you need? Number one, how to grow your income. How to grow your income. So you probably need to look at your skill set, your current type of job, and then how do you enhance your skill set so that you can attract a reasonable paying job. Number two training you need is how to save when the money is not enough. Because one of the biggest problems of people who will tell me they don't have $5,000, they don't have $50,000 in savings, is there's a savings problem. Anytime you can't raise capital for a business or capital for investment, there are two major problems: your earning power and your savings culture. Your earning power and your savings culture. And you then need a training to help you structure how to earn better and how to save better. Okay, because once you increase your earning power, once you work on your savings culture, then now you will be in a position where you can start investment. I hope this makes sense. So please, everybody, type this. Before you can invest, you must enhance your earning power and your savings culture. I want everybody to type this in the comment section. Everybody, come on, type it right now. Before you can invest, you must enhance your earning power and your savings culture. Come on, everybody, type it right now. Before you can invest, you must enhance your earning power and your savings culture. That is where this begins from. Okay? If you don't enhance your earning power and your savings culture, guys, it is raining here in Paris and it's extremely cold. Okay? Extremely windy. Oh Jesus. And I must take my walk every day. I just have to do it. Thank you. Felicia Bam says, before you can invest, you must enhance your earning power and your savings culture. So oftentimes I see people say, Dr. Stephen, how do I begin to invest? What do I do? how do I raise money for investment, blah blah. And I say, hey, two things you need to look out for. Okay, your earning power and your savings culture. Some of you have good earning power but very poor saving culture. I've always said this over and over again. Nobody has enough money to save. We all don't have enough money. Okay? Because we are always, as human beings, having our needs, our wants rise up above our income. It's the way it works. It doesn't matter how much you're earning now. Before you know it, your needs and wants will increase above your earning. So, first thing is, yes, enhance your earning power, but you also have to then build a culture of savings, which is something you have to be able to do whether you have enough money or not. You must discipline yourself to begin to save out of the little that is coming in, out of what is not enough. You have to build a savings culture, because if you don't have a good savings culture, you always blame everybody else for the reason why you've not built wealth. So how do you turn things around? You have $50,000 to invest every year, and I think everyone, like I said, even if you don't have $50,000, have a fixed amount that you've made up your mind you are going to be investing every year. It's something very, very important. Have a fixed amount. Say, hey, every year, no matter what happens, I am going to raise $10,000, I will invest. I'm going to raise $1,000, I will invest. I'm going to raise $20,000, I will invest. It is something very, very important that you must develop. Okay? However, let's assume you have $50,000 every year to invest. There are three major areas I will ask you to invest, three things to look out for. Number one, look for a mid-risk investment opportunity. If you joined my training 2 days ago, I talked about high risk, mid-risk, and low risk, right? Mid-risk investment opportunity are the type of investments that gives you an average of between 15% to 25% return on investment every year. That's one of the ways to know a mid-risk investment. Another way to know a mid-risk investment is investment that is backed up by a physical asset. So, for example, I see people just investing in something mythical, something missed. Look at what's going on, for example. How many of you have heard of the Binance Nigerian story? If you have heard of this, type me. If you didn't hear about it, type I didn't hear about it. If you have heard of the Binance Nigerian story, type me. If you have not heard of it, type I have not heard of it. Okay, Dr. Pride, go watch my 2 days ago training, right? So go to my page, scroll down to 2 days ago. You'll see my training. I talked about high risk, mid risk, and low risk. Okay? So right now, 2 Binance executives have been arrested because they are accused of manipulating the Nigerian currency, and it's believed that $26 billion, I can't even believe that, has passed through Binance. $26 billion. This is crazy. I mean, if anybody has told me such is possible, I would say it's not true. $26 billion moved through one platform. Okay? But remember, Binance is a high-risk investment, and I've shared that with many of you many times, right? When I teach about mid-risk, high-risk, and low-risk. Cryptocurrency is a high-risk investment. Forex is a high-risk investment. Your chances of losing all your money is very high. Now, how many of you know with what is going on with Binance, a lot of Nigerians are about to lose their money? If you know, type I know. If you don't know, type I don't know. By the way, Binance also had a similar crisis in the US with the SEC in the US, where they had to even pay some money back. I think Binance, as far as I'm concerned, owe Nigerian government some money, right? And I hope Nigerian government will follow up on this, because Nigerian government can get back as high as $10 billion, because the US did the same. Okay, I know the US collected. It's raining again. I have to hide somewhere. The US government collected. What a rainy day, guys. Okay, can you hear me? If you can hear me, type I can hear you. So the US government collected some money from Binance. Of course, a couple of consequences for some sharp practices Binance committed in the US economy. So I am very sure the Nigerian government has a lot they can prosecute Binance for in Nigeria as well. I am extremely sure of that one. I can tell you that one categorically. But back to the conversation of today's training, right? Now, for those who invested in crypto, because of the volatile nature, they're going to lose money from this crackdown that is going on against Binance. A lot of people will lose money, but that is why don't put all your money in high risk investment. So my advice for you is you have let's say $50,000. Look for a mid-risk investment, number one. Number two, look for something backed with physical assets. So when I started real estate, people told me you are doing very well in digital marketing. We're one of the biggest in the country. We're handling presidential accounts. We're handling jobs for multinationals. As of 2015, we're one of the biggest in Nigeria. But that same 2015, I expanded into real estate. And I remember people asking me, why did you expand into real estate? Why real estate? You are doing so well in this other sector. Why must you do real estate? And I said to them, one of the reasons why real estate was important to me was because I realized that anybody can call me out, right? And say, this Timakita guy is a fraud. I don't believe this guy. He's lying. Okay? He has nothing. But then if the assets or the business I'm doing is not physical and tangible, right? At the end of the day, I will not be able to defend myself that much. But if I am dealing with a tangible product, and the people have attempted it, I've seen people say, don't mind them, they don't have estates. You know what I just do? The next day, I go to the estate and I do video. I don't even need to mention that somebody said anything, right? Like we have an estate in Ibejuleki called Beryl Estate. And I've gotten a couple of feedback here and there, people making insinuations. On Sunday, even though it wasn't convenient, I just went to the estate and I did video. As God will even bless me, the federal government has started a 10-lane express road in front of the estates, right? And we too were opening our fiscal office. They've started fiscal office operation on the estate. And I was able to do my video, send the link to a few people who caught my attention to it, and case closed. But imagine I was doing a business that is not backed up by fiscal assets. I hope this makes sense, guys. Do you understand what I'm talking about? If it makes sense, type it makes sense, it makes sense. So if you're doing a business that is not backed up by fiscal assets, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. And I'm not asking you not to put your money into such, but I'm saying there are less chances of you losing all your money, okay, when you are dealing with a business model that is backed up by a fiscal asset. So your 50,000, in my own opinion, put into something that is backed up by a fiscal asset. I've done a few investments before, and one of those things I look out for is, okay, this company I'm putting my money into, what are they doing? Right? And I still do a lot of investment where I put my money. Bonjour, how are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Well, then I'm good.
You want to drink? You want to eat?
For now, no. I'll call you when I'm ready. I'll call you when I'm ready.
Okay.
Thank you. So, for me, it was a case of it was a case of whenever I want to put my money into a business, I'm saying, okay, so what are you guys into? I'm asking questions like, what are your physical assets? And people ask me, why are you particular about physical assets? Because the idea can disappear. A competitor can come and improve on your idea and take you out of the market. And I'll give you a practical example. How many of you know that social media is an improved version of email? If you agree, type I agree. Let me ask that question again in case you didn't hear me well. How many of you agree with me that social media is an improved version of email? Email just had one layer interaction, right? I send, then you send back, okay? But social media is like 10x of email. It was just a better version of email. So it was easy for Google to be out of the market. In fact, even in the email category, by the time Gmail came, Gmail offered bigger bandwidth, which was difficult for Yahoo to offer, right? Gmail offers other incentives, right? It's linked to your drive. You can store your information. It's linked to Google Drive. It's linked to several other stuff. By the time Gmail was done with Yahoo was out of business and had to sell. Okay, had to sell. Meanwhile, how many of you know the story that Yahoo, I think it was Yahoo, wanted to buy Google at some point? Either Yahoo or Microsoft. Who knows that story? If you know the story, type I know. If you don't know, type I don't know. Please, if you know the story, kindly confirm or correct me if I'm wrong. That yahoo.com had once offered Google money to buy Google. Yes. Either Yahoo or Microsoft. But can somebody who is a tech savvy confirm this or just Google it? Because I know that story. Either is Yahoo that offered it or Microsoft. Okay, so I'm told it's Microsoft. Now, who remembered the valuation of Google and valuation of Yahoo as at the time Microsoft wanted to buy Google? Okay, you can Google that story. It's a very funny story where Yahoo was rated so high, yahoo.com. Google was rated so low. But at the end of the day, who is Yahoo in front of Google? Google will buy 1,000 Yahoo today. 1,000, 100%. So the lesson there is, and I learned that early, that you need to put your money into something that is backed up by physical assets. And one of the recommendations I'm making, you don't need to do it, but that's my own recommendation, invest in a real estate company. There's something we call real estate investment trust. Everybody type it. Real estate investment trust. Come on, everybody type real estate investment trust. Okay, I'm waiting for all of us to type it. Real estate investment trust. So I've heard many people say to me, I am not interested in buying a property, even if it's in the US. And I say, why? I say, well, tax, I will need to be paying tax on the property every year. I said, that's true. I need to pay mortgage on it every year. I said, that's true. And that even in the cases where, for one reason or the other, I couldn't get a tenant in my house in the US, I will still need to pay the tax and the mortgage. And I said, that's true. So I've seen situations where people say to me, I don't want to buy the house. I don't want to buy it. But I'm ready to give my money to those who understand how to buy houses in the US, how to get tenants, how to make money from it. And they give me a portion of my money back as a profit. Okay? And I think it's a right decision to make. I am a real estate developer and I invest in real estate all over the world. But still, I'm telling you, I still have companies that I just give my money, let them go do their business, and then they give me returns. And people have always asked me, why do you still do that? And I say, because, like I taught you 2 days ago, is one of the smartest ways to become rich. The ultimate goal of anybody who wants financial freedom is not to work for money, it's for money to work for them. Meaning, every one of us, including those of us who own businesses, we are growing our business to a point that one day we will not need to go to our offices. We will not need to call anybody. Okay, yet every year we are earning a huge amount. One of my business mentors, Dr. Cosmos Maduka, if you know him, type I know. If you don't know him, type I don't know him. Okay? One of my business mentors, Dr. Cosmos Maduka, if you know him, type I know him. If you don't know him, type I don't know him. Now, Dr. Cosmos was at our CEO retreat January this year, and he shared a powerful formula, okay, a very powerful formula about how he runs his business. So all Dr. Cosmos Maduka business is run by general managers. Those general manager and him, they do what we call profit sharing. Dr. Cosmos owns his business today 100%. Okay, he didn't go to the capital market. But they do transactions in billions of dollars. Yes, you heard. Yes, you heard me well. Coscharis Group does business in billions of dollars every year. The Coscharis Group. But what he does is that each subsidiary has a general manager that runs it. Okay? And they give a budget at the beginning of the year. They get a target, okay? And for example, this person can say, Dr. Cosmos, at the end of the year, I am promising you a profit of $100 million. So they write it down. So here's the sharing formula Dr. Cosmos use. If you hit your targets, okay, of 100 million as profit by the end of the year, you will get 10% of that money back. Meaning $10 million is given back to you and your staff. So the first 5%, you, the senior management, will share it. The remaining 5%, the junior staff share it. Now, if you surpass your target, you promise to bring a profit of 100 million, but let's say you did 120 million, you will get 15% of that money back, meaning you are getting $12 million, okay, for you and your staff in that subsidiary. Now, what is this telling you and I? That even at the level of Dr. Cosmos, right, what he has done with his business is to build it to a point where he doesn't need to do the heavy lifting. I hope we are learning here. So, at the end of the year, he's counting on each subsidiary to remit, and he gets 30%, and then the balance goes to the group, and then they invest 40% back into the company, right? But the way he's built his business now is something we call passive income. How many of you who were, by the way, were you, if you have been in my 2 days class, type me. How many of you have been in the class in the last 2 days? Just type me. If you have been in this IG live class in the last 2 days, just type me. By the way, those of you joining us, welcome. I'm Dr. Stephen Akintayo. And I'm sharing how you can turn your $50,000 to multi-million dollars in 10 years. Okay? So this has been a series I started in the last 3 days. And so if you've been in the classes, type I have. If you have been missing, please go back and watch the other days I've done. There's so much wisdom, because some things are like follow up to what I've taught in the last 3 days. Okay? And so one of these I've shared before now, it's on this same page. You can go to my YouTube channel, Dr. S. Akintayo, or even here on IG, you see it. Okay, Dr. S. Akintayo, or here on IG is there. So anyone, you can go to the YouTube, Dr. S. Akintayo, or on this IG, follow this IG and then scroll down. We post more than 20 posts every day, so you need to scroll down. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, type I can hear you. If you can hear me, type I can hear you. I just want to be sure you guys can hear me. If you can hear me, type I can hear you. Remember to invite others to join us back. We've lost a few people, so let's get them back on. So like I was saying, in one of the classes, I talked about how the ultimate way to become wealthy is through passive income, meaning you have stopped physically working, but money keeps coming. So whatever money you had invested one time continues to bring forth fruits, continues to yield returns for you on a regular basis. That's how the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer. So example is Bill Gates. Bill Gates has stopped working in Microsoft. In fact, he's no longer on any Microsoft board, even though he started Microsoft. But there is no year that Bill Gates' assets, the shares he has with Microsoft, does not give him billions of dollars. Are we learning here now? So even those who own companies today, the ultimate goal of those companies is that one day they will retire, they will leave the company, and the company will continue to give them more money as a result of, their sacrifice, their investment that they've done in that company in the previous times. Okay? That is ultimately how wealth is built. So you don't own a company, and this is where a lot of professionals miss it, right? Because people have lied to you. Don't work for anybody. Okay? They are using you. Okay? Ultimately, everybody is using somebody. Alright? And don't let these people deceive you, because a lot of the people who say these things, they themselves have never achieved anything in their life. They're just telling you things they've never tested. They're telling you things they've never done before. And some of us get, all this aspire to acquire, all these motivational talks, okay, that are not, properly verified. So what you should be doing if you're a professional is not to quit your job. And there's nothing wrong if you need to start your own business. That's what I'm saying. I'm not against you waking up to say, okay, I want to be an entrepreneur. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying that your problem primarily is not because it's not because you work for someone. Your problem primarily is that you are not making money work for you. I think I've hit the nail on the head. That's what I'm trying to say. The real problem of every human being when it comes to financial freedom is your inability to make money work for you. Once money starts working for you, whether you are still an employee, whether you own your business, you are now on the pathway to wealth. Let me repeat myself again. And by the way, is this making sense? If it makes sense, please let me know if this is making sense. Once you have started making money work for you, whether you are still in a paid employment or you own your business, you are now on the pathway to financial freedom. Very, very important. Okay? And this is one of my biggest secrets, because I realize that even those of us who say we are CEOs, we are chairmen of companies, there's still risk to the companies we run. There's still risk to the businesses we own. Things can still happen in the course of you being an entrepreneur that can wipe out your company one day. May we never see it. Can I hear an amen? When you heard of the story of Otedola, how he lost $1 billion in one day. How many of you have heard that story? If you have heard of it, type I've heard of it. If you haven't, type I haven't. Okay? If you have heard of Otedola's story, how he lost $1 billion in one day. If you have heard of it, type I have. If you haven't, type I haven't. Now, if you've gone through that story, I have, and I think you can watch the video on YouTube, you will now understand that no matter how big your company is, right, even for those of us who are business owners, things can still happen that can wipe you out. Now, when you hear Otedola's story of how he came back, right, it was still from the investment he had with other companies. I hope we are learning here. So, his shares in UBA, he sold it. And that's led to we all know the famous fights between him and Tony Elumelu, right? His shares in Transcorp, okay? He had to sell it. That's how Tony Elumelu took over Transcorp, right? And that was how he had to sell everything he had just to get things back, and try to stabilize and not go under totally, right? How many of you are aware that Mike Adenuga owns about 5% equity in Transcorp, in UBA, in First Bank, and so many companies that you don't know? So the question again is, Mike Adenuga owns Glo, virtually 100%. He owns which other bank? What's the oil company? Corn Oil, right? He owns Corn Oil, virtually 100%. Majority shareholder in Sterling Bank, and so many things that the question is, why is he still having to buy 5% Transcorp, some equity in UBA, some equity in First Bank, and all these other companies? Are we learning? Come on, if you are learning, type I'm learning. So this is for both of us, right? Whether you are an entrepreneur like me, you own companies, you must still begin to put your money in certain companies that you will just be getting returns every year. No wahala. Aside the company that you own. Whether you are an employee, you work for another company, right? You don't own your business, you must do the same. You must still look for companies where you can be putting your money, right? And the money work for you. Now, the principle, and I want to share with you before I wrap up today, is called compound interest. Everybody say compound interest. Come on, everybody say compound interest. Compound, the principle of what? Compound interest. Now, if you multiply $50,000, right? $50,000, and you are getting, and this is what we are giving you at GVest. For those of you who want to invest in our KD projects, that's what we are offering. And we even have a founder bonus where we are even giving a little bit more than this, right? But let's assume you are investing, it's little, it's mid-risk investment. So you're getting 11% every year. Can somebody help me do the maths? 11% every year, but compound interest. In other words, you are not withdrawing your interest. You are putting your interest back into the business. Okay? You're putting your interest back into the business. How much will $50,000 give you in 10 years? If you are putting your interest back. Uche, Uncle Case, I like your question. I say, what if the company fails? That's the risk involved. In this world, it is risky not to take risk. I'm walking on this street now. Okay? The light says I should walk. But somebody could be drunk and come and knock me down. And then I'm dead. God forbid. But it has happened before. Okay? A Nigerian artist was in Atlanta, Georgia, pulled up at the gas station and was gunned down by straight bullets in Atlanta, Georgia. in the US, not in Nigeria. Okay, not in Nigeria. However, one of the things that could protect your risk or reduce your risk is what I mentioned earlier on Uncle Case, where I talked about put your money into businesses that are what? That have physical asset backup. So for example, what we're doing in Keri has a physical asset backup, a 40-acre property, and we're building on it, right? Everything has insurance, okay? The land has insurance. The construction process has insurance involved, right? And that's one of the things I love about US real estate. The entire value chain has different form of insurance involved. So that is also one of the ways to reduce your risk, okay? But you can never forget the fact that it is still a risk. Investment is a risk, yeah, and it is risky not to take the risk, okay? Because now you won't have the opportunity to enjoy the spoils. I took a lot of risk. I'll share with you a few risks I took. By the way, who is doing the calculation for us? $50,000, 11% interest in 10 years. What do you have? Come on, somebody. And you are not withdrawing the money. In 10 years, what do you have? $50,000 compound interest, meaning the first year at 11%, the returns the first year is $5,500, but you put it back. Okay, you put it back again. So in 10 years, what do we have? Somebody say $55,000. That's a mistake. In your first year, you already have $55,500. Who knows maths? Please let me calculate it. Who knows maths? Uncle K says, how do I reach you? Send me a DM, right? So for those of you who want to invest, send me a DM. Just send a DM and then we'll reach out to you. Our team will call you. Can someone let me do the calculation, please? Okay? Somebody let me do the calculation. $50,000 investment at 11% annual compound interest, meaning you keep pulling back, putting in the capital, right? And then you keep doing it for 10 years. How much will it be? No, you are still wrong. Mayor of real estate. Why don't I have financial experts here? Nobody can do that calculation. I'm a bit disappointed here. Okay, I thought I had financial gurus here. $50,000 at 11% annual interest rate. Calculate the compound interest. Calculate the compound interest. Prince, you're wrong. Way wrong. Okay? If you do the calculations very well, you shouldn't have less than, you should have between 800 to 1.something million dollars if you do the calculation very well. Okay, if you do the calculation very well, because at least you should have more than what you guys are quoting, no matter what. Okay? Yes, so somebody got it right. By the 10th year, ladies and gentlemen, your $50,000 has turned to $650,000. That's the power of compound interest. And if you take it to 15 years, you will be a multi-millionaire from the initial seed capital of $50,000. Right? You will be a multi-millionaire. And that's the power of compound interest. Okay? That's the power of compound interest. However, if you are to be putting in $50,000 every year at 11% plus compound interest, you shouldn't have less than $2 million. So somebody help me do that. I really need somebody who understands finance to help me with this. I am putting in $50,000 every year, and I'm getting an 11% ROI every year. what is my my total income at the 10th year. Because remember, the first year my $50,000 will turn to $55,500. Then I add another $50,000. That gives me $105,500. That's what will be reinvested the second year. Okay, and that $105,500. Okay, by the end of the second year, should be giving me about $11,000 thereabouts. Should turn to, I think, about almost 22, almost 120,000 thereabouts. Okay, by the second year, and then by the third year and I'm still adding another $50,000, making $170,000. I'm investing back the second year. Okay, so I mean we should be talking about almost $2 million by the 10th year. I just don't have a calculator and I'm holding this. I would have been able to help you calculate it. But that's the power of compound interest and the power of investment. Remember, the advantage here is that I am putting in my money and is my money working for me. I'm still free to continue to do my normal job. I'm still free to continue to do the other things that help me bring money. But I've put in my money to investment and the money is working for me. And that is really how life works. You must master this if you want to go far in life. Wealth is a function of risk, but you must calculate the risk, but you must take that risk. But the real ultimate financial freedom comes from being financially prudent by deciding to allow money work for you. So I'll give you an example of an investment made, and that's why for me, investing in real estate, investing in land, investing in houses, once you are partnering with people who know what they are doing, has always been the right thing to do. Right? That's one of my investment that I'm not the one directly doing it. I partner with other people, but it's still the right investment. It's still the right investment no matter what. Right? There's a property, for example, we bought in Dubai. Okay? Right? And at the end of the day, the rental income, the property went for, I think, over $1 million. But the rental income from it was at about 9% every year. 9% every year. So you calculate the 9% of $1.2 million. Okay? And it's coming in every year from that particular investment. So this is how you become financially free. And that's why I said, whether you own the house or you are investing through someone, make sure your priority is to invest in something that has physical assets. Because no matter what, the physical assets will stand and will remain there. Have we gotten value today, guys? If you got value, just type, I got value, I got value. Come on. I need your feedback. Did you get value? Are you happy you are in this class? Okay? Thank you. Tosin Omotayo, thank you. That's $1,419,710. Thank you for the calculation. Ladies and gentlemen, if you invest $50,000 every year, compound interest, your money will be worth $1,419,710. How many of us have been working at least in the last 15 years? Okay, in the last 15 years. And we have been earning, don't lie here, be honest. And we have been earning an average of at least between 10,000 to 20,000 every year in the last 15 years. Okay? If you're in that category, just type me. If you're not in that category, just type, very soon. I'm coming up. Okay? How many of you watching me here have at least in the last, whether in your business, whether in your career, you have at least been making at least between $10,000 to $20,000 every month, not every year, every month, in the last 15 years. So I can see a lot of you say me. So all of you have been earning between $10,000 to $20,000 in the last 10 to 20 years. You are supposed to have accumulated, ladies and gentlemen, 1,419,000, okay, from an investment. Are we learning here, guys? Are we learning? I hope this is really opening our minds up. So imagine those of you who have been earning that kind of money. Imagine you have such a money somewhere, just chilling. Just chilling. All these enemies of your village, all these riches you say you've been having, you won't see them again. You will not have been seeing them. Because the kind of confidence you have, a lot of time people say to me, Dr. Stephen, you talk with audacity. I say it's because of the kind of investment I've done. Yes, I believe in God. I trust God to have my back. But you see, there are certain investments you do that you'll be bold about life. Okay? There are certain moves you will make about your life. You'll be bold. There's a level of confidence that comes because you know God is on your side, but you've also made certain right decisions, okay, to protect your future. Is this making sense, guys? If it makes sense, type it makes sense. So for those of you asking questions about the Katie project, talk to me. We have from $50,000. If you don't have up to $50,000, if you have $30,000 or you have $10,000, talk to me. We have investments. What's going on? I don't know what's going on with the guy. He's been shouting. He's shouting crazy. Well, it is where people are not angry in Nigeria alone. All over the world, they're angry people everywhere. There are angry people everywhere in the world. So it's not only in Nigeria. This is Paris and the guy is shouting. I mean, it's the city of love, shopping and all that. Meanwhile, this guy is... Okay, so some of you think it's in Nigeria alone that they are crazy people. They are crazy people all over the world. So yes, for those of you who want to be part of the Katie project, send me a DM and you can tell me what your budget is, whatever it is that you can afford to invest. But I want you to DM me, right, and invest with us for the next 10 years. Okay, let's try this together. Okay, you tell me, Dr. Stephen, I'm going to be putting in $10,000 every year for the next 10 years. And let's see what it will be worth 10 years from today. Right? You tell me I want to invest $30,000 every year for the next 10 years. Let's see what it will be worth. You tell me I want to invest $50,000 for the next 10 years. Let's see what it will be worth. It's a risk you're taking, I agree. But again, like we always say, there's risk. I mean, it's risky not taking risk. Mr. Adebayo, send me a DM. For all of you who are asking, send me a DM. I'm in Paris, by the way. If you're in Paris or you know somebody in Paris, they can connect with me. We can meet and connect. But I'm giving you send me a DM or send a WhatsApp message, +1 443-790-3925. Okay, you can send a WhatsApp message to that line. Don't call it. If you call it, I'm not gonna pick. WhatsApp message is what works. Okay, and let's plan the next 10 years together. Okay, let's plan the next 10 years together. 9 years ago, I took some risk. Started meeting some some kings in Lagos. I started giving them money every month towards some land. Okay? Towards some land. And 9 years later, those lands are worth billions today. Right? They are worth billions today. It was a risk. In fact, some of those lands that I was paying for, court cases developed over them. But I trusted, and that's why if you're going to do investment, make sure you do your background check about those people. Make sure you trust them and you're ready to go all in. Because some of us, when we start hearing rumors, when we start hearing stories, we end up losing out. So you must be sure you trust whoever you're investing in and you're ready to go all in. Right? Look at those who trusted Jimovia. Most people don't know the story. When Jimovia was starting Zenith Bank, when Tony Elumelu was starting UBA, when Erastus at Akimbola was starting Intercontinental Bank, these people were running up and down, asking people to believe them, asking people to invest. They were running up and down. Some people didn't believe that. There's a popular story of the 20 million naira that Jimovia used to start Zenith Bank was the same 20 million naira that Shina Peter used to build a house. Okay? Now, 30 years later, Zenith Bank is worth over $2 billion or $3 billion, or Jimovia is worth that at least. Okay? The house that Shina Peter built with the 20 million naira is in one bush and is worth not much. I mean, even if the house is worth 50 million, let's even say the house is worth 100 million, is it compared to the empire that Zenith has become? So it's important to take risk and believe in people and partner with them to invest when you see somebody building an empire. Because years to come, not only will you be able to make money with them, you also be able to be proud of yourself that you put your money into a vision that eventually generated jobs for people all over the world. You put your money into a vision that gave a good glory, a good perception about people of color. Because everybody always argue we don't know what we are doing, which is not always the case. So it's a risk you're taking. Feel free to chat me up if it's something you are interested in. But did you get value in today's conversation? Guys, talk to me. If you got value, if you're excited, you're a part of today's class, type I learned something, I got value. Come on, talk to me. I would love you to share this video with as many friends as you have. Chat as many people up. Follow me on YouTube, Dr. S. Akintayo. But give this video to your friends, your loved ones. Even if they don't invest in our company, there's a lot they will learn from it. It will shape their minds and their thinking about building wealth and being rich. Like I've always said, it is important to... Someone said, do I have insurance? Personally, yes. I've thought about the place of insurance. Okay? And the businesses we do in the US are insured. I have insurance on them. In the US real estate market, you cannot do anything without having insurance. You buy land in the US, there must be insurance on the land. It's normal. You start building houses in the US, there must be insurance. It's not something you have a choice. It's in Nigeria that, first of all, it's not mandated to have insurance. Second of all, even if you have insurance, there's no guarantee that if anything goes wrong, the insurance company will pay you. Right? But in America, that's the way these things work. But in closing, I want you to look at this. These are gentlemen working. Okay? They are hard workers. They are good people. They are fixing this road here in Paris. Okay? They are very good people. Okay? But do you know that life is unfair? That their goodness and their hard work is not what will determine whether they are rich. It's ultimately their ability to be an investor. If one of these two people decide to take a little out of the money he's earning and learn, first of all, he must learn about investment, right? He's a laborer, does construction, but he starts, investing gradually, right? Today he buys, which shares do they have here in Paris, right? Let's assume the richest man in the world, isn't it? He owns Louis Vuitton. Let's say he start buying Louis Vuitton shares with, 200 euros every month, ladies and gentlemen, and continues to do that for the next 25 years. How many of you agree with me that he will be better during retirement than his other colleague that is doing the same job but refuse to invest in Louis Vuitton? Okay? How many of you agree with me? And this is what we are talking about, life. Where you will end has nothing to do with you. And this is where we Christians miss it. Yes, thank God for faith. Thank God for being a Christian. Thank God for knowing Jesus. But if you are not an investor, you are going to be poor for the rest of your life. There's nothing your pastor can do about it. The only painful part, and the day you discover, is the day you now hate your pastor. The only painful part is that your pastor is already investing. Okay? I'm close to many pastors in Nigeria. Many pastors. I will not mention his name. I know a pastor in Nigeria into healing ministries, powerful healing ministries, prays for people and they are healed. Is into heavy word ministry. Very good, sound teacher of the word. Big pastor in Nigeria. Okay? Commands massive following. But can I shock you? He trades in Forex. Not only does he put his money in Forex, he's an active Forex trader. Yes, that I know. Okay? So, imagine you that refuse to invest. And then you keep going to this pastor. Pray for me. Pray for me for my finances. Trust God for me, for my income. Your pastor is praying, is fasting, is healing people, is doing miracles. He's even getting you to come and sow to him. He's trading Forex, but you are still sowing. People are still giving to him. He's adding it and he's investing it. 10 years later, he has a private jet. He has big cars. You now hate him. Whose fault is it? Oh yeah, everybody give me an answer because you have all gone quiet. Whose fault is it? I need an answer. Come on, everybody type. Whose fault is it? This man is your pastor. He prays for you. You sow seed into his own life and into his ministry. But he is also fasting with you and praying. But he's trading. He has investment in real estate. He trades Forex. He has investment in different companies. Okay? Many of my investors are pastors. A lot of those who invest in me are pastors. You now, the church member, you are still saying, am I sure, Dr. Stephen? I'm afraid. I need to go and ask my pastor. Dr. Stephen, what if I lose the money? Your pastor is praying, but he's investing. And part of his prayer is that he won't lose the money, but he's investing. You don't invest. 10 years later, you start abusing pastors. Don't mind them. church member money, tithe and offering, who is doing who? Right? Who is really doing who? And the issue with most pastors, let me tell you why your pastor is not telling you to invest. If your pastor tells you, church members, I hereby recommend so company, go and invest. Okay? And something goes wrong with that company, will you not sue the pastor? Will you not eventually stop going to that church? I know investment I've advised people to go into. That's why today now if you tell me points where I should invest, aside the companies that I am a co-owner, I'm a shareholder, I don't recommend companies again. Why? I've had situations where I recommended certain companies, the thing collapsed, people started coming after me, right? Because I recommended, and I don't own those companies. I didn't even get anything. I just say, hey, I know this company, they are good, I put my money before, and people come after. So that's why your pastor, somebody says both the fault of pastor and member. No, your pastor does not want the liability. I know many pastors who have invested with me, Stephen Akitayo, but didn't tell their church members. Okay? Hey, great old white. God bless you. They didn't tell their church members, because if God forbid the investment go bad, if it's a mature investor, he understands how investment works, he will look away. But if he tells his church member, invest with Dr. Stephen, I'll put my money there, if anything goes wrong, okay, the same you will go and hold that pastor and tell the pastor, I will hold you. So that's why pastors don't recommend the investment they are doing, because they have studied investments, they are taking the risk, but they know if they ask you, the church member, you say the pastor has Holy Ghost. Meanwhile, pastors too have lost money. Okay, but you say no, my pastor has Holy Ghost. So if this goes bad, you go and hold your pastor. That's why they don't recommend. LaShawn says, do you accept investment? Yes, we do. You can send me a DM or send me a WhatsApp message, +1 443 790 3925. Just WhatsApp chat alone. +1 443 790 3925. Again, +1 443 790 3925. WhatsApp chat, and I'll link you with our team. Lakeside Cop says, don't support all those pastors. What they were doing is wrong. Where the pastor got the money from? Where pastors also get salaries. Okay? Also, members who are blessed by those pastors sow seed. The fact that you don't give your pastor money does not mean I don't. Okay? I have some of my pastors, I give millions as a gift. It's not tithes. I send it to their personal accounts. Okay? Personal accounts. As a seed to them. So how do you expect such a pastor to be poor? Okay? My own pastors, I give to them regularly. Some of them every month, 2 million goes to their account. Right? I have made my money. They've been part of my journey. They've prayed for me when things were difficult. They are still praying for me spiritually to support my business and the challenges I go through every day in life and business. Okay, and I consider what ministering to their lives and sending them gifts. So don't assume that all pastors' money come from tithe and offering. No. A lot of pastors have raised mentees who are very rich. Okay, who are very rich. Some of my pastors have known me when I had nothing. And I will still go and meet them, they will still pray for me. And I had nothing. Okay, so now that God has blessed me, you think I will not remember them? Okay, so a lot of pastors have raised people. They've been there for people when they had nothing. And those people continue to remember them, right, and support them. But what I'm saying is that as people like me give to my pastors, many of these pastors do not just keep the money like you church members are doing. They are investing it. They are buying land. They are buying properties. They are buying things. You now, you've kept the money in the bank. You now you've bought a bigger car. You are not investing. Years later, you will now go and be blaming the pastor. Oga, the ultimate way to become rich is investment. Money does not answer to prayer and fasting. Protection does, healing does, but not money. I know many people that in other things they would say they will pray for me. When it comes to money matter, they will sit down and start asking me questions. I was shocked. I went to a particular city. I will not mention that city. The pastor that has the second largest congregation in that city, I will not mention the city, and I was doing training on real estate, and I was shocked to see the pastor in the class. He paid to come for the class. After the class, because I knew this was a very powerful man of God, he has the second largest church congregation, so I offered him to take him for lunch, and we sat down. I said, what's the issue? And he mentioned to me, he said, look, I'm a pastor. Not only am I a pastor, I also have regions under me. I have over 18 pastors under me who are pastoring some of my local churches in different places. We're all becoming over 50. Our children need to go and study abroad. We are struggling financially. I need your help. And today, that pastor, from things he learned from me, has over 20 shotlets in that city that is now bringing him money every month, every week, from what I taught him. Every week. So if you see that same pastor now, and because he told me, he said, people give me a lot. I said, how much do they give you? I mean, your church members giving to you. He said, some months they give me up to 5 million, some months up to 10 million. I said, that's enough. With that money, let's start doing this. Let's start doing this. Let's start doing this. Now he has almost 30 shotlets where anybody that comes to that city on a short stay, they go and lodge in his shotlets, and he's making money, and he's buying more properties, One time he took me to one land he had gotten years ago, and I told him, let my architect, they will do it for you for free. Let's design this, let's build this on the property. Okay, so your pastors are entrepreneurs. It's you that refuse to take risk. Look at Pastor Matthew, what he's building now. Okay, look at how Pastor Matthew is building in Macarius. Infrastructure alone now is 11 billion. What Pastor Matthew is building in that place will cost over 50 billion naira. So he's doing that. You are not doing anything. It's a risk the man took. He never knew dollar will rise. Pastor Matthew is based in the UK. He never knew dollar crisis will happen like this, naira dollar, where he had targeted that he was going to use 5 billion to do infrastructure in his estate. Now he needs 11 billion. But it's a risk. He's taking it. One day now, Macarius will be ready, and they will value it. They say the thing is worth $100 million. People will say, see them, thieves. All these Barao pastors. Meanwhile, he's doing real estate just the same way I'm doing real estate. Okay? He's taking the risk. He's even risking that somebody can call him out. But he's taking the risk. You are not taking any risk. And you want to be rich. That's not how wealth comes. I hope you've learned. I love you all. God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Bye-bye.